would make it too formal.
Okay.
It's weird that way.
It's hard to go like on cue, like 1, 2, 3, start.
And
okay.
then be natural about it.
I'm wasting the chip here, guys.
So John, we were talking earlier about the problem of rural students making the transition into larger communities and the difficulties around that. Do you want to share some of your thoughts on that?
I worry so much about the students. I envision what they've been through and the types of things that they have to put together when they come into town, and I worry so much about them because I just know how difficult it is, and you know, all the little things that you've got to put together. And you know, I hear some of them say, oh, I'm just going to get an apartment, but it's not just getting an apartment. It's, you know, getting a telephone and getting your hydro and buying your food regular and making sure that you got transportation, and you know, maybe you want cable TV, and then maybe you want internet, and all those little conveniences that you've taken for granted because maybe your parents did it and you didn't know about it, or maybe somebody was helping you out and you didn't know about it, and the little things that they do that you're not aware of, and it makes it so difficult for students. Just the sheer amount of and that's just the little things, the sheer amount of little things that they have to accommodate. But there's so many other things that they just don't seem to be aware of. And you know, often it isn't the it's not the preparations about life. Often it's you inside and where you feel your soul, and in the feeling you get in your stomach. And there's so many butterflies, and you know, you can accommodate getting the butterflies in the morning, but when you have to leave home and you have to go to college, that you get butterflies every 30 seconds for 30 days, that every time you turn a doorknob and enter a room, you don't know who's in there, and you don't know what they're going to be like, and are they going to be friends with me, are they going to smile at me, or are they going to be aggressive, or are they going to be strange? And there's so many of those things, and that has nothing to do with where you're going to live and how you're going to pay your bills. And those things, I think, are the ones that really get people, is that I don't know what you call them, but it's like getting butterflies every time you have to get up and walk through them doors. That's just so scary.
And for the most part, John, the students are young, and it's their first time away from home, and they have a lot of responsibilities all of a sudden to assume, as well as their studies in school. Just the issues, like you're saying, with living, the costs. Once you take somebody out of their environment, it can be very difficult. But then you add all that other stuff, and the responsibilities of paying your bills, and knowing you got rent, and getting yourself up in the morning, and making sure you got something to eat, and which, you know, in our communities often we have so much support in doing that. And that doesn't even include like all the little things, like getting the butterflies when you walk into a classroom full of people you have no idea who it is. And so there's so many things, and often I get so scared that the students don't realize that, and that can be very difficult. I don't know how I did it when I did it. I don't know how. Maybe I was packing a bit of arrogance and just figured I owned the world, and maybe that's what you need at times, is a little bit of arrogance just to get yourself through the day. And so, yeah. How do you see the college supporting students that have these transition issues?
You know, our students are so used to living in small environments that to simply run a large scale, you know, meet and greet or orientation with 50 or 60 people can be too much, eh? Maybe we need to individualize it, that somebody like yourself or some of the other the counselors within student services, maybe they need to do it on an individual basis. That maybe you buddy and mentor for the first month, and that you know, you hook up with them every day for the first 2 to 3 weeks, and then after that maybe every third day or every fourth day, and you just tail it off until they've got everything together, eh? Because that. You know, usually the first couple of weeks are okay. It's after that that things start to fall apart, eh?
And what more can we do to prepare them at the community level before they leave the communities?
They need to have that discussion, but you know, sometimes it can be difficult to relay the real message without being here. I mean, ideally, if you could model some kind of program where they had to live on their own for 2 weeks, that would be great, but I don't know if you could do that. But to get into their heads about the types of things and the amount of things that have to be taken into account, and what types of feelings they're going to get when they get here. If they were more prepared with the way things, the feelings that they were going to get when they arrived, they would have a much better understanding of what to expect. Okay, we're really governed by our emotions, aren't we?